I just got the first secret rare Pokemon card ever created. Way back in the year 2000, something nearly unheard of happened in the Pokemon card world. We got an English Pokemon card before Japan got it. It's almost always the case for mainline sets that cards are first released in Japan and then a couple months later remixed and released in new English sets. The card I'm talking about is a classic favorite, Dark Raichu from the Team Rocket set. Keen-eyed observers are probably saying, hey, that's not the actual first one. And you're correct, there's technically a first edition of this card, but after base set, I never really felt the drive to get first editions of these later Wizards of the Coast sets. It just felt too gimmicky to me. So most of the time I'm just collecting unlimited versions, and in this case of the Dark Raichu, that's exactly what I did. Let's dive into this card, check out its origins, why it's so unique, its many quirks, and even dig into its pricing history a little bit so that you can get your very own copy for a good deal. Team Rocket is a set I'm actively trying to complete right now, so I've been doing lots of investigation on the set and all the cards in it. This is definitely one of my favorite vintage sets of all time. NANI? There are a ton of awesome cards in it, like this Dark Charizard and this Dark Dragonite, or even look at all these awesome less rare cards. Wow. But Dark Raichu really stands out. Looking through the set list, it immediately stands out that Dark Raichu is at the very end. Unlike with modern sets, that was super weird for the time. All the sets before this had the rarest cards at the front. Like look at base set here. Ooh. Ah. Just check out the card number at the bottom, 83 out of 82. It may feel like commonplace now, but back in the day, this is actually pretty confusing. Like, why would there be a card that exists outside of the set count? So weird. It was an absolute shock to people when the Team Rocket set actually released and Dark Raichu started getting pulled. Card lists were often released or leaked early, and Dark Raichu was not on it. This is how we got our first ever secret rare. Quick side rant. Sets have way too many secret or special cards these days. There's some killer artworks in these, but they don't feel nearly as special or as accessible as this Dark Raichu did. Okay, back to the Dark Raichu. There's actually an interesting little error on this card. Check out the top right here. It says, put Raichu on the basic Pokemon. It's easy to gloss over this, but it should say, put Dark Raichu on the basic Pokemon. It shows up correctly later in the reprint set, Legendary Collection. There's actually another sneaky weird thing about this card that I did not notice until actually owning it and putting it in my binder. Look at the top left, at the Pikachu evolution box. See anything weird there? Probably not. Now look at it beside my Dark Charizard. The background behind the Pikachu is lighter. To show it's not a fluke, here's another card, Dark Alakazam. I looked it up after noticing this, and on Bulbapedia, they confirmed this is intentional, even on the Legendary Collection one. I didn't find any concrete proof, but my best guess is because Pikachu doesn't actually show up in this set, so there's no dark version of Pikachu. My best evidence for this is that it looks like all the other evolution change are fully realized in the set, like the Dratini Dragonair Dragonite, or this Eevee and all its evolutions. Alright, now that I've convinced you that you actually want to own one of these for yourself, let's check out the prices. There is good news. Back in the day, pull rates were actually reasonable. Look at the most recently released set, Phantasmal Flames. Some really cool cards in here for sure, but the pull rates are crazy. Let's look at the Team Rocket pull rates side by side. It's pretty obvious right off the bat what kind of differences we're working with here. The one hyper mega rare in Phantasmal Flames, this Mega Charizard X, is 1 in 1260. So 35 full booster boxes on average to pull one of these. Even at MSRP from Pokemon Center, that would be $7,385 Canadian before any taxes or shipping. With Team Rocket, to pull the only secret rare in the set, this Dark Raichu, it's an average of 1 in 51 packs. That is less than 1.5 booster boxes. The real thing that gets my goat is the holo rares. Holo rares were effectively the chases in vintage sets, and the pull rate is 1 in 3.2. So you're going to, on average, pull 11 holos in a booster box. That means you're getting 11 of the 17 total holos, assuming no duplicates. In essence, you're likely to pull multiple of the bangers, like this Dark Charizard and a Dark Dragonite. As a quick comparison, there's a 50-50 chance that you get a single one of these SIRs. Pretty crazy. Pointing all this out actually had a purpose. To show you that these vintage cards are actually within reach for fans, as there are plenty of them out there. I see at least a few of these every single time I go to a card show. Some graded, some not. Since I've been wanting to pick one up for my Team Rocket set for a little while, I've been noting the prices. On average, they're typically between 100 and 120 Canadian, with the occasional good deal that's below that. This isn't like trying to buy the wallet-crushing, but admittedly awesome-looking Mega Charizard X for $700. I've been buying more and more cards from card shows instead of online, And this is the most important tip I gave in my video on getting Pokemon cards for cheap. I want to show you everything I got, but more importantly, I'm going to give you 7 tips to really maximize the value you're getting for the least amount of money. Tip number 1. Go to shows. Make sure you check that video out and see the sick cards I got, like the Shining Magikarp. If you could subscribe while doing that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm just getting started here on YouTube and have a ton of cool things to share and show off. With all that said, I bought this online. Around Christmas time, eBay gave me a 10% off coupon to use on any trading cards. And with that, it came back around to kind of being worth it to buy something online. I decided to pull the trigger on this one here. It felt like a pretty good deal to me. It's by no means a perfect condition card, but it definitely felt good enough for my binder. Now, PriceCharting isn't the best source, as it doesn't really count for condition, and there are plenty of HP and damage sales that alter this pricing here. But what it is good for is getting a sense of fluctuations over time. You can see it's a pretty steadily priced card over the past several years. You can see this with the ungraded and the PSA 7 lines here, with of course that uptick that happened last year with the whole market going crazy. This is actually a good sign for you if you want to pick this card up. Let's take a look at what it is on eBay because we can get a quick sense of the unlimited and first editions here. Okay, let's look at the sold listings for the last little while here. We can get a quick sense of the most recent prices, including graded ones like this. You see a lot of, $100-ish to $120 cards, like I was saying, especially when you factor in shipping here. And as you grade cards into PSA 8s, it goes up quite a bit. Let's see if we can find a first edition here. A lot of unlimiteds of late. Here's a CGC 9 first edition, which only went for $320. So you can actually see that first edition to unlimited is not a huge jump. $215 for an ungraded, $250 for the ungraded first edition, $220. So it's not like base set first editions. If you're patient, you can for sure get this for under $100 Canadian. There you have it. A very interesting piece of Pokemon card history, now in my collection. Could very easily be in yours as well. I'm really liking completing one of the best vintage sets of all time with Team Rocket. It's just such an awesome set. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss all the exciting new stuff I have planned. Full set deep dives, awesome cards to look out for, more tips and tricks, all kinds of stuff. Thanks. See you next time.